worked to default mode. I don't know. But we are in game number 3, so welcome to the stream. How you doing? It's tied up now 1-1 and spawning here in the top right corner of Dust Towers. I think it's the first time I've ever... No, we saw this map yesterday, that's right. It's going to be the red Terran player, Forte, better known as Salvation.
In the bottom left, as the blue Terran, it's Reality.
Okay, I have to look into something, so if you wouldn't mind chatting for just a moment here.
Okay. Let me just complain about updating a new motherboard. If you don't know, you have to basically just redo everything when you do that, because, you know, drivers and whatnot won't be compatible with the new motherboard. You know? And when that happens, sometimes it just really sucks. Sometimes everything breaks and you need to reinstall everything and you lose a bunch of data and life sucks. But at least you finished the Legacy of the Void campaign. Woo!
Woo! Oh yeah, that's right. You finally finished the Legacy of the Void campaign. Congratulations.
Thanks. Except the end of that was less than desirable for this
I don't even want to get into this with you right now. So, Reddit has a rule about no spoilers till November 24th that I'm totally down with. So I know it's going to kill you, but you got to wait a week before you can bitch about the ending on stream.
Whatever.
Zombie Grub is the worst at spoilers for those who don't know, so potentially be ready to cover your ears at any given moment. So I am trying to figure out something with Naruto really quick.
Alright, well you continue doing that. I did not watch the previous 2 games. I guess I could have with my phone, but instead I was playing a cat game. Very important stuff. Anyways, I saw kind of the end of the last one, and I know that it's tied up, so there you go. They both have played very well, and I'm sure it was a great TvT. Generic statement inserted here. Well, now they're going for an expansion. Each one is actually going for a pretty identical build. Getting Reapers, Factory, everything looking similar. One is Reactor. That's actually the big difference. Is that one's going for Reactor, and that's about it. 2 Reapers won't really do a whole lot, but they will be able to pull the SCVs off. And the Helen comes out, they're done for. So if really good control comes down from Salvation, then he could potentially lose no SCVs, but obviously a lot of mining time. He lost 1 SCV. No, wait a minute. No, he lost 1 SCV.
Okay, worst observing in the world finished. I'm sorry, guys. Had something very important to sort out. They're discussing Home Story Cup qualifiers, and one of them is taking place the same day and the same time as our finals for this tournament, actually. So, as much as I hate doing that on the fly, we had to discuss that really quickly. So, apologies for that. We missed a little bit of action in the early game, but nothing too insane. I don't know, were you able to watch game 1 or 2 while your computer was borked, or were you focused on trying to get it fixed?
I was very focused on trying to get it fixed. Yep, that was my #1 priority.
Okay, well, I was just bringing this back because both games we watched each players try and go for an attack and fail miserably, and that put them really far behind. And third bases have been a big question, so it's really cool to see Reality, okay, fail in his attack, but this time he's actually got a third, so not really taking the same weaknesses as the previous series.
Whoa, why is this Liberator coming out so quickly?
That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to, but these Hellions are passing each other like ships in the night. Because of that blocker for vision, they don't see this. They're going to turn around to try and come home to defend due to the medevac, and thank God for that, but surprise, there's going to be Hellions waiting for him. He had no idea.
Yeah, that was sort of a bold rush in anyways. I mean, what was he, what were you really planning on doing except maybe blocking out a little?
If I can finish that medevac, does finish the medevac.
Well, it's not going to break the main, it looks like, but it took a better trade, killing the medevac.
Yeah, getting that medevac was a huge snipe to stopping this attack. It also prevents them from being able to lift off and drop to the natural. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do a good map tour because I was not focused here at the start of the game, but one of the cool things is you do have a secure natural, safe and sound, tucked into the back of that base.
I guess Reality was prepping to take his third, which did just finish up, and that's why his Helens were out there, but... everything has actually calmed down. Double Engineering Bay, though, for Reality is actually being really quite greedy with Salvation not far behind.
So we did in front of the base get broken. What's up is the fact that it was a really you question like why was the Liberator coming out, right? And this it makes no sense. Not only did Reality have Vikings out, which was nice, you're gonna want those anyways for the potential Banshee. The Liberator just doesn't have the kill potential that a cloaked Banshee does when fighting off Vikings like that. So lots of question marks get raised when going for that Liberator, and I don't know that that was the greatest choice out of Salvation. It cost him quite a bit.
I think if you're going for a frontal push on maybe a smaller map too, because this is kind of a long distance, then maybe adding a Liberator early on could work. You know, instead of the 3 Vikings with like 2 tanks, that 1 Liberator. I don't know even then, to be honest. What we saw at least in the beta was that Vikings could be king in this matchup. You stop them from medevac dropping, you stop them from picking up the tanks. Just generally, air control was also a big factor in Heart of the Swarm, you know, tank thing, but going for a Liberator, it doesn't even make sense in the late game. Like, we don't even see that as like the next step. Actually, have we seen a very late TvT in Legacy of the Void? I think we see like battlecruisers like once. Maybe.
Yeah, there's not been a whole lot of late game TvTs, but even then the ones that do, they tend to be the same mid game that just extends another 10 minutes. Marines, tanks, drops, like you don't really see that evolution to the next step because it's not really necessary. Like, battlecruisers are cool, Liberators are awesome, but for the most part, Marines and tanks, they're the core of everything, and they'll work in most situations. We'll get some people in chat, though, asking a lot of questions. So is today TvT only? What's the deal? What's the prize pool? All this other stuff. So quick recap. You missed the first game when I explained all this. $2,000 prize pool for this tournament, provided by some wonderful folks who support this channel, and the request was... no, the caveat was we had to call it the BaseTradeTvT and make it a TvT-only tournament. Personally, I was okay with this because I love doing mirror matchups, but secondly, I love mirror matchups specifically in Legacy of the Void. A lot more fun than their HOTS counterparts.
Sure.
So, yeah, it is only going to be Terrans. And a lot of people have already made the comparisons that I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing about, like, you know, Shoutcraft showed Terran versus this, blah, blah, blah. We've actually seen a lot of TvTs, not just in Shoutcraft recently, but most importantly during the last few weeks of HOTS, where we got to see a lot of TvT action. Or, sorry, not HOTS, excuse me. Well, I guess technically HOTS, but the last few bits of the Legacy of the Void beta. Reality was one of those kings, by the way. Him and Beyond. The players really just controlling a lot of the weekly cups and being some of the best Terrans we got to see.
Salvation was in a couple of them, but not nearly as often as Reality was in the final weeks, anyways. So it is surprising to see him at 1-1 in a pretty even game. Now, Reality has taken a bit of a lead just because his his macro game was a little more on point, where it was really Salvation reacting to it. That got him to where he is now.
Speaking of the devil on the brackets, Beyond has gotten 2 walkovers, lucky guy, and he'll play the winner of this series.
Is today double elim or?
Yes. With all the brackets we do, it's going to be small signups because it's only Terran. You take out like 2/3 of the game.
No, it's just a dead game.
Oh, confirmed, confirmed. Yeah, every region, guys. Europe, North America, and Korea, we plan to do double elimination for, as we know there's not going to be a lot of players to sign up because it is one race. It's limited to one single race. But we do have qualifiers for each region. I did say earlier today I explained the invites, but I never got around to it. We're going to do good old standard BaseTradeTV post invites, where we will invite players later based on performance in the qualifiers. I know some people are like, well, I wish you guys would invite Polton Innovation, but that's not how it works. We like to reward good play and effort a lot more than anything else.
Like, Innovation would know what to do in Legacy of the Void. Guys, please.
This drop in the main is going to feel a bit of a burn as it flies past that turret. It gets picked off. That's going to really suck here for Reality. Pretty strong attack going through the front, but man, that drop in the main was supposed to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, at the very least, it's supposed to pull back more than it, he contributed to. Like a couple of tanks, a couple of Marines, then he busts up the front. Very classic maneuver in TvT, and of course, failed there. Nevertheless, he is still up 30-40 supply, and that is, going to become worse and worse as fourth bases are a necessity soon.
I believe, and I could be wrong on this, I think Salvation just lost double medevacs going for drops. I got the tail end of it as we saw the blips on the minimap, but we saw explosion here and explosion here, and then he dropped down like 20 supply, so I think, could be wrong, but those may have been full medevacs.
That sucks. We killed him.
Missile turret's hype.
Oh, there are missile turrets.
Actually, no, that's got 0 kills in it, so I don't know what killed it. It must have been the Viking, I guess. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Things died, and moving forward, Reality's got a huge supply advantage. Upgrades are fairly even, though, for both sides. We'll see if that ends up playing a factor or not. If those Vikings from the front line, they can certainly poke away some of these medevacs a bit, but I don't know. I kind of feel like if you just put the tanks behind this mineral line outside of the range of the other tanks, and then just drop the Marines in the main, that may be Reality's ticket to win this game. But of course, he doesn't have the vision that we do, and he doesn't really know where exactly Forte's positioned. He's going to spread on, charge up this ramp. That could be a big mistake. He does have a huge Marine advantage. Is that cannon fodder going to be enough? So far, it's looking so good. Those tanks untouched in the back lines, and Reality will walk over Salvation. Good game gets called, and map number 3 is going to go to Reality.